Welcome back. I'm so glad that this is the final review I'm recording tonight because I'm getting sick of talking. Anyway, I'm your host as ever, Purple Midnight 8. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I think that will end up being the new intro, who knows. Today I'm looking at Fallout 4. I know, breaking the forbidden rule that is the rule of the movie reviews is we don't cover sequels until we've done the games for 4. It's a bit difficult with 1 and 2 considering I'm on console, but anyway, New Vegas will come, I promise you. But my god, that is going to be a behemoth. No pun intended, because it's Fallout. Anyway, if you didn't guess by the title and of course the fucking thumbnail, I'm covering Fallout 4. Uh, One of my favourite mid games of all time. It's very mid, but if I could, I would tell you my exact playtime, but also it's very embarrassing. It's in the hundreds of days that I've played, so forgive me. Please don't judge me too harshly on that, but blame the mods. Anyway, we'll get right into it. So on the day the nukes dropped, your character and family retreat to the nearest vault. After being frozen, your spouse is killed and son kidnapped, so you awaken and must search for them across a ruined Boston. Which is interesting considering it's the first game to actually have some pre-war-like story to it, as opposed to just everything being in the middle of the shitstorm. Even if this is the worst Fallout, not the worst. No, it's not the worst. It's not terrible. Fallout 76 is the worst. It's not a bad game by any right anymore, but it's not a good game. Anyway. Being a Bethesda RPG is a large-scale open world full of discoverable locations to explore, mostly serving as dungeons in order to gain loot and gear from enemies and a chest at the end. Most dungeons contain perk magazines that increase stats by a small amount as opposed to previous games that give a temporary boost. Minus books. Books used to be a thing in the old games where they would permanently increase some of your stats, but that all changed. Controversially, the game took a more linear route to leveling up, providing a skill point that is used to buy a perk or to increase one of the special stats: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. I'm surprised I remember all them, but I played this game way too much, as I mentioned. In previous games, it was used to improve specific stats such as your speech, your science, your gun, like your small guns, your big guns, melee. You all know it. I don't need to list them off too much. With an occasional perk that you can pick after, I think, every 2 levels, I think, in New Vegas. I don't know, could be wrong. I'm going to sound like a right idiot when I cover that game. Despite being present in previous games, weapon and armor customization is a lot more detailed, but also simplified. Rather than needing specific mods to improve guns, you scavenge an awfully high amount of scrap. The community will understand the issue with adhesive. Good God, where the hell is it? Or aluminium, because I'm English and we say it correctly. Good God, there's not enough of that. Or oil. Oil is the what? Hey, there's so many fucking pieces of scrap that I just can't find enough of. That's why I play with mods, so I can actually enjoy the game. I will talk about mods in a moment. So yeah, you scavenge an awfully high amount of scrap to craft the upgrades, as well as needing the specific perks. Notoriously, the game has a large reliance on the ability to build settlements, especially pursuing the Minutemen questline. We've all heard the memes, we've all heard Preston and his bullshit. While it's great having a safe area to craft and upgrade your gear, it mostly serves little purpose other than that. Yeah, basically you put your workbenches down, you can sleep there and whatever, but other than that, it's just like the Minutemen. Companions make a return in probably the most detailed way in the series, being immortal as well as having a full affinity system. So rather than a Fallout 3, they could die. I can't remember if they had like quests and stuff. Fallout New Vegas, they couldn't die, but they did have like half affinity system. Not as like simple as this. Usually unlocked through quest or by signing with factions, which of course can completely lock off certain ones. Reaching your maximum relationships with them will also give you a special little perk, as well as the option of romance for some of them. including robots and ghouls. Good God, they had too much fun with that. Other than your typical side quests and world-building lore, your holotapes, your notes, all that good stuff, it's worth exploring as much as possible. There's all sorts of strange, mysterious things hidden within so many areas, which, if you played games like Skyrim and any of the other Fallout games, is pretty average. Your skeletons and your mannequins doing weird shit. It just begs the question of what were they doing when the bombs dropped. Mods are, of course, as I mentioned, the best part of this game, ironically not made by Bethesda, because it fixes all of the bugs as well as just adding some actual good content into the game. From weapons built from scratch with custom animations, that's not a word, animations from the likes of Hitman. Hitman's really good. I can't remember the other guy's name. War Daddy. Those guys are great with their animations. To create from creatures to weapons to whole environments. Like some people go insanely overboard. All intricately handmade by the community. However, it does disable trophies and achievements. And unfortunately, RIP to all you PlayStation players out there, it does not allow for external assets to be used, which does cut down the available content on their consoles. So basically, if it changes something within the game, that's all you're going to get. Like, no custom assets and stuff are allowed, so no custom guns, creatures. It's really sad. It's a shame. Because you're missing out. On the other hand, because of course it's Bethesda, they have a small list of paid mods you can pay for. These can be used mostly safely, because it's still Bethesda, nothing ever works properly. And in a game that you are using for achievements. So yeah. They're basically like mini bits of DLC. Creation Club is what it's called, I should say. Which is also available in Skyrim. As is standard with a Bethesda game, the game has 6 DLCs available for purchase. Most of which, I think about 4 of them will get a video on, ranging in quality and value. As well as the story DLCs, there are 2 workshop DLCs, which I will not cover because there's no point. Basically just adds more items to the workshop, which I will cover in our own videos at some point in the near future. Like, I don't even care that much about this, like, doing this game. I just want to talk about the DLCs. Despite having an embarrassing amount of playtime on this, as I mentioned, it's not a very good game. I will not be the first to say it. But the addition of mods has made the game a lot better and kept me hooked on it longer than I would without it. Without it, I would have done the story, done the DLCs, and given up on it. But the mods keep me coming on there every day and checking what good stuff there is, messing around for like an hour with them. The risky changes taken by Bethesda mostly did not work out, especially the voice protagonist. How can you have a role-playing game with a character that talks and has like a pretty, as I mentioned, linear story and perk system, but it still plays well as an FPS, just not a great Fallout. Just not a great Fallout, or like role-playing game in general. So yeah, that was it. That was a bit longer than I anticipated, like nearly 10 minutes. The other 2 I did tonight have been like 5 minutes, so it's twice as long as I anticipated. Thank you ever so much for listening to me ramble for the last 10 minutes or so. I've been your host as ever, Purple198. Thank you ever so much for listening. I'm going to let my voice rest now. I'm so sick of hearing it. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.